Hey everyone, I'm Doug Hoyer, and I made about $8,000 last month as a mobile notary loan signing agent.
8,000 bucks watching people sign loan documents. That's
Well,
crazy. Now, is that level of income typical, or how long have you been at it to reach that level?
when I first started out, I barely got any business. There's a lot of trust that goes into this, and part of that trust is the amount of signings you've done. There's different systems out there that you sign up for called signing services. One of them, SnapDocs, that a lot of signing services, more of a bucket than a lot of signing services, but they share information behind the scenes of how was this person. They send out random surveys to customers that fill out. So there's a lot of hidden things that you don't get to see that other companies see. So
Okay.
as that progressed, the more I got more business on that platform, I got more business on other platforms. I signed up for. There's thousands of signing services out there. There's so much money in this business that everybody wants their piece of the pie.
Okay. Interesting. So these are kind of the centralized databases of notary agents like yourself, where escrow offices and companies that need somebody to go out and perform this signing, they can go through this database and find somebody. But you're saying behind the scenes, there's like an internal Yelp system or TripAdvisor system with like ratings of the different signing agents.
Right, and mistakes you've made, or positive things you've done, negative things.
So you've been at this for a couple years now.
Nope, I've been at it for a little over a year.
Wow. Okay. 8 grand a month in a little over a year. Do you have an estimate of the time that you're putting into it these days?
Like today, I'll probably do. Let's see, I got 6 signings, but they're pretty close. So driving matters, right? So
Yeah.
if you sometimes I'm an hour and a half away, sometimes I'm 10 minutes up the road. So you get paid the same regardless.
Did you have any real estate background or notary background before you got into this?
Nope, zero, none.
What was your process like to get your notary certification? And I understand this varies state to state.
Yeah, it does vary state to state. In Washington, I always say when people ask me what does it require, I always say it's really difficult in Washington. You need to pass a real simple background check. No felonies, physical crimes, things like that, and you need to have a pulse. That's how you get your notary in Washington.
Okay, some of the other states are going to make you take a test, and there's a different application fee for it.
Yeah,
But more often than not, a pretty straightforward process. So interesting to hear that. And then there are a handful of states that are attorney only states. For example, Georgia, like you have to be a licensed attorney to, oversee these loan signings. And so, watch out for that as you kind of are doing your homework on this side hustle. Anything
yeah.
else that gave you pause before you got into it, or you just kind of jumped in with both feet and said, I can make this work?
Well, the dip at first is really tough. So you put an outlay of anywhere from $500,000 for training, for this, for that. You got to wait a month in Washington or so to get your notary license, and you're taking all these tests. You have to pass the National Notary Association test, and do that
Okay,
certification.
so you do have to do this test. So you study up for that, pay the fee, pass the test.
Right. Yeah. There's more. You got to do background checks. So there's anywhere from $500 to $1,000 depending on what you need to invest into this, and that's without the car. Got to have a car.
Okay.
Have to have a
Because all these
motorcycle.
signings take place like at the customer's location, right? You're going to their house or whatever to sign the papers.
No, no. So it's anywhere and everywhere. I've done it in a parking lot before. I've went into the Amazon building, and let me tell you, when they say they like dogs, they're not kidding. I think 80% of the employees bring dogs to work.
Okay, interesting.
It's like that's a lot of dogs, but it's anywhere really. You're a mobile notary, so it's a convenience for the customer.
Okay, so 500 to $1,000 in startup costs for background checks and licenses and errors and emissions insurance, and then some training. So I understand you invested in some training to get started. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, sure. I started with the loan signing system, and again, that came from your show.
Hey, just want to cut in here and clarify that Doug is talking about episode 286 of the Side Hustle Show. That featured Mark Wills, the creator of the Loan Signing System online training course, and a student of his, another Side Hustle Show listener named Brian Schooley, who at that time was earning $1,500 a month part-time. That episode is available both in traditional podcast form and the audio version of it is available on YouTube. So I'll link both those options up for you in the description for this video. But Mark calls the mobile notary business, the loan signing business, the best kept secret in real estate. And he is super passionate about sharing that message. And because of that, it can sometimes come across as a little over the top salesy. And that's one reason I keep reaching out to students of his, like Doug, to get the inside scoop on how it really works. For the 6 signings that you'll do today, what is the average fee or what do you expect to make from those?
The ones today, the average fee is about $90.
Okay. So you're looking at, call it $500 today?
Yeah, about $500.
Okay.
And
So
that's if I don't get any more. I actually have room to fit a couple more in my schedule.
Okay. So if some last minute things come in, you can say, okay, I can pop over here. Okay. So potential to do $500 in a day, a year into this, after your 500 to $1,000 in startup costs. How long did it take you to break even on your upfront investment?
Oh, to break even if you don't count everything, probably a couple months. Because again, when that first start out is really, really slow. Well, this is just, it trickles in and you just got to take your lumps. It's going to be, it took me 4 months before I really started getting consistency for
Okay.
like two to 3 grand. And then it went to 3 to 5 grand. And then it's just been steady on where anywhere from, I'd say 7 grand to 1 month, it was 11 grand.
Wow.
So
That's,
that was a super busy time.
yeah, I mean, this has become kind of your main focus, your full-time focus, if you want to call it that.
It is now. Now it is because it's helping me push my other businesses that I'm trying to do forward quicker.
Yeah.
Plus it allows me to be flexible with my time. So that's the best thing about this. I don't have to report anywhere. I don't have to take signings. I can do whatever I want to do when I want to do it.
Sure. If you're, hey, I'm busy today, I can't make it. It's kind of just a yes or no. What's the insurance cost you on a yearly basis?
Oh, and I was a 4-year basis. Oh, I don't know. It was like a couple $100.
Oh, it's cheap. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
In the course, in the loan signing system course, this is my understanding is like, here is what you're going to find in this stack of mortgage documents. Here are the common forms and contracts and everything. And you need to have a good understanding of that before you go out into the wild and do these signings. Was that the bulk of the course material, or did it cover the marketing side of things as well?
Well, it depends on what level of course you bought on that score.
Oh, okay. He's got different tiers.
Yeah, it's different tiers. I bought the middle tier, I believe it was called, 100,000 success, and he does a little bit of marketing. Mark focuses in the loan signing system. He focuses on his marketing of getting direct business, and I understand how that works because it pays quicker. It's better. You're doing the same documents all the time for the same people. With me, I get new documents all the time. I mean, you have to be really careful when you get documents because you can't just assume it's going to be like the last batch. It could be the exact same forms, and now they put initials at the bottom, and you don't get the initials, and the signing's no good. I mean, just little stuff like that. Attention to detail is very important in this job.
If you screw up, what happens?
Well, generally, unless it's really bad, you either have to go back out and do it. It depends on the service that's using it. Some people just won't use you again. Some
Okay.
people will make you fix it. Some people understand things happen, but if it happens continuously, they just won't use you again. And they don't let you know this. They just ghost you. It's like
They just
dating.
they just okay. Got 'em. You're on the blacklist now. Okay. And there's this element. I see you got your shirt and tie on. There's this element of professionalism, like presenting yourself as the signing expert, or hey, I'm here to walk you through this document. Is that a typical meeting, like page by page? Hey, here's what you're signing. This is a 30-year contract. Do you understand what you're getting into? Like, do you have people back out at the last minute? Like, what does that look like, signing to signing, and how long might that take?
Well, it depends on what it is, anywhere from 20 minutes to about an hour. Some of them are about, last night was about, I don't know, 250 pages. That's a bigger one. It took about an hour and 20 minutes. I mean, you can't set your watch by it, but you can kind of figure out what it's going to take, and you give yourself a little buffer room between signings.
Anything else on the course front that you think helped you either get started or to kind of take this thing to the next level? Is a course even required if somebody, wants to strike out on their own and study this stuff and get their notary license and sign up for these signing systems or signing services?
So what the course did for most people that probably didn't really ping me very well is it gives them a group to hit off of, right? People have a lot of fear when it comes to something new. As you've seen many times in people's side hustles, there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of stagnation. They don't know what to do because it's a brand new thing, right?
Yeah, well, I imagine especially for something like this, there's a lot of imposter syndrome in starting a completely new business.
Well, I don't know. So I have a different background than most people, where I just do it, and I don't even worry about imposter syndrome or anything else. But that's my background. So,
What
you
was
know,
your first signing like? So you weren't nervous rolling up and like, okay, I got to collect all these signatures and initials, and if I screw this up, like, oh, I'm in deep trouble. Like, what was going through your head? Like, I got this. It's just standard contract material.
it was a little. It was like, okay, hope I got this down right. Um, I didn't have the docs, so they actually sent them to the client. So I didn't even get to see the docs. So I
Oh,
had no
geez.
idea what I was
Yeah,
walking
so
in.
you didn't have a chance to review them or anything beforehand.
Nothing at all, right? And I'm like, okay, I guess we're going to do it this way. So I show up, and the girl used to work at an escrow company and knew all the docs, had flagged all the places already. So it was probably the easiest signing I ever had.
Oh, okay. That's a confidence builder for sure. Is
Well,
it is
yeah.
that typical? Like they will send you these files, you print them out, you bring them over, or they'll FedEx you the big Manila envelope of
Mhm.
the files or the documents.
So 99.9% of the time, for working with signing services specifically, you are printing the docs, two sets of docs,
Okay.
and then you're taking them. You're in control of the docs. Very rarely will the client have the docs.
Do you have an estimate of an effective hourly rate from doing this? Because it's like, yeah, $500 in a day sounds pretty awesome. Like, well, shoot, maybe I should gotta go get a notary license. But curious what that might shake out to on an hourly basis.
There are a lot of costs. You have to write off a lot of stuff, from paper, toner, the equipment, scanners, mileage for your
Okay.
car.
Okay.
It's about 14 grand a year that I'm doing for mileage based on this little Mile IQ app.
So the sticker price may be $90 for this signing as an average, for example, but then you got to take into account the time and mileage it's going to take you to get there, the toner and paper for printing out these documents, um, and just your time, I guess. But anything else that goes, any other hidden expenses that people should know about?
Other than the normal lunch or things like that. I mean, not really. I mean, that's pretty much it. On the best success in this job is, so it's not like having a butterfly net and you're going out trying to catch butterflies, and you want to catch a lot of butterflies, right? But when you catch them, you're not supposed to give them back to take the bigger ones. So you can't just wait for the bigger ones. You have to take the small ones too.
Okay, because
And
each one that you do builds up hopefully your reputation, your portfolio, your relationship with the different services, and hopefully
yep,
leads to more business down the road.
absolutely, absolutely. I've done, let's see, I've done about 1,500 signings in a year now, which is pretty good.
Wow.
Um, that's not too bad.
Not too bad.
What else?
You're being. I think you've taken this business farther than 99% of the people who go through the loan signing system or any other course would do it.
Well, a lot of people have fear. A lot of people can't. A lot of people. I've actually got a couple people into this business who wanted to do it,
Yeah.
and they started all they did, and then they just dropped it, and they don't have a good reason why. I think it's just fear, or I don't know. It's got to be one of the easiest jobs I've ever had.
Yeah, that comes up more often than you might guess. Talked to a couple people this summer who were like, yeah, I went through the program and even started to get the notifications like, hey, there's a signing nearby you this evening. Are you available? And they kind of get cold feet and say like, I don't know if I'm ready. And it's like, you're never going to be ready until you go and do it. And aside from the fear, is there anything else you see that is separating the people who are having success with it from the people who are kind of stuck on the sidelines or maybe in this, $500 a month range?
It's definitely time management. So one problem with this is I wanted to start this as a side hustle, right? And that was always the intention. A couple grand a month, whatever, while I work on my other stuff.
Yeah.
And that was not working at first. That was not working, right? I was ready to go get a job at UPS just to have something to do.
Why do you say that? Why do you say it wasn't working?
Well, I just wasn't getting enough signings to do anything. Because at first, nobody's going to hire you. You just have to understand that at first, unless you're getting direct business and going out and marketing yourself and trying to get that in, nobody wants to hire you because they know you're an unknown and they know you're going to have issues.
Okay. How do you get over that hurdle as a new, I mean, it's similar to Amazon. Like, I don't want to buy the product with 0 reviews, but like, how do you overcome that?
You just got to go do it. You just got to take them as they come. Yeah. But
So where do you see this going? Like you're probably on track to do 6 figures with the loan signing business, but is that the end game for you, or what else? What else do you want to build?
well, again, thank your show for this. I love your show because it gives me these great ideas I can test out to see if I want to do or not. So you had the Land Geek on, Mark Podolsky.
Yes.
Yeah. And so now I'm headed down that path. So the one problem with this business, it's time. I can't clone myself. If I'm not doing a signing, I'm not making money.
Yeah.
So so this is a good driver for me to push other like the land business forward or other businesses that I have forward. But there's an end game to this that I don't want to have because my goal is remote location and freedom to do
Yeah. It's
what I want.
interesting. It sounds like a pretty good hourly rate or pretty good use of your time right now. So it's like, okay, how can I parlay that cash flow into these, more passive income streams?
Yep. And the beautiful thing is, if I want to drop this down now to $2,000 or $3,000 a month, which is a lot easier to manage, now I have the networks built up where I can do that very easily.
So you could scale it up and down kind of at your choice.
Yep,
Okay.
exactly. Which
Well, this is
is
good stuff, Doug. Any parting thoughts or words of words of wisdom for people looking at this as a potential side hustle?
well, like every side hustle and everything you do in life, you just got to start.
That is so true. But what do you think? Did Doug convince you to become a loan signing agent? Let me know in the comments below this video and make sure to subscribe for more money making ideas.